Joe Lindsley has tracked the Devon Archer saga right from the start. Hunter Biden's former Burisma partner was convicted of fraud, then pardoned by Trump, who says he was screwed by the Bidens. Archer testified against the family. Now he's free and he's speaking out. Joe tells us what it means and what could be coming next for its impact on Ukraine.
Russia. It was all
that dossier
bullshit.
It was based on Hunter Biden.
Are we at last cracking the code that has afflicted our politics for so long? Here in Kyiv, amid a new wave of Russian bombings, while people still gather in parks and play soccer, I'm witnessing a startling threat emerging. The entire effort to block Donald Trump from power just might all trace back to Moscow with an assist from the Clintons. Let's take a look at how Ukraine is connected to this story.
Wow, you know what? That's actually... Yeah, I've actually never thought of it.
If you caught our report last week, you saw we've been one step ahead of everyone else. We reported how the Moscow-connected energy firm Burisma hired Hunter Biden and Devon Archer, not from Ukraine, but from Russia. And now, amid real explosions here in Ukraine, there were two explosive developments in Washington, D.C. on March 25th. First, President Trump pardoned Devon Archer, Hunter Biden's former business partner. And second, Trump declassified the FBI's internal Crossfire Hurricane documents, the Bureau's now discredited investigation into what the FBI claimed were Trump's ties to Russia. We reported last week here exclusively on Devon Archer's 2023 congressional testimony in which he confirmed that the Burisma deals were signed not in Ukraine but in Moscow. When you understand that detail, a bigger, more sensible picture starts to snap into place. But as we can see in this conversation between former Congressman Devin Nunes and Donald Trump Jr., a lot of people still miss this key piece of information that could help us solve the entire Russia mystery.
Remember the first people to accuse Joe Biden of having nefarious involvement in Ukraine? It was actually leaks from the Clinton campaign when they were trying to keep Biden out of the race for president. So it's almost like they took all these ideas off the shelf. Hey,
they replaced the name here. You know, we're just going to cross out this name and we'll put a Trump personality in there. Honestly, I'm actually shocked I haven't put that together, but you're right. I mean, this was during the time of the Hunter Biden no-show jobs. Like, what was Hunter doing to earn like almost $100,000 a month in Ukraine at an energy company? No energy history, no business history, doesn't speak the language, like doesn't have to show up. Like, I don't know, guys, like, you know.
So once again, Ukraine is the punching bag. But as Devon Archer testified, he met Burisma's CEO not in Ukraine, but in Moscow in 2014. That Burisma CEO, Mykola Zlochevsky, was part of the pro-Kremlin Yanukovych regime that Ukrainians ousted in 2014. Zlochevsky is a deep state energy oligarch who fled to Moscow and then from Moscow tried to claw back power over Ukraine, in part by hiring the son of Joe Biden. According to former Congressman Nunes, Hillary Clinton, trying to knock Joe Biden out of the 2016 race, used an early version of the now discredited Steele dossier in order to target the Biden's Burisma ties. But that dossier, among other things, falsely claimed that Burisma was Ukrainian. Either Hillary's team were sloppy, or they got played by Russia, or worse, they were in on it. Because as we've shown here repeatedly, Burisma's CEO was a fugitive from Ukraine hiding in Moscow, trying to restore the old pro-Kremlin regime.
Everything the Democrats do. I mean, that's the, Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. Like, accuse them of doing the things that you're actually doing.
When Joe Biden dropped out in 2016 and Trump and Hillary became the main rivals, the Clinton team seemingly recycled the Steele dossier, swapping Biden's name for Trump's.
We're just going to cross out this name and we'll put a Trump personality in there. Just mix and match. Honestly, I'm actually shocked I haven't put that together, but you're right.
So why does this matter here in Ukraine? Well, the American frustration over deep state corruption gets wrongly pinned on the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians have been caught in the crossfire, so to speak, and the real stories, the actual reality here, gets ignored. 3 years in, Ukraine has Europe's most powerful and innovative army. An army that actually can teach a lot to the United States. And at sea, Ukrainian Marine drones have revolutionized warfare, forcing Putin's fleet to retreat from Crimea and much of the Black Sea. Ukraine pulled this off without a navy, and that victory is now being buried under Moscow's calls for a Black Sea ceasefire, when there really is no fire to cease in the Black Sea because of Ukraine's success there. Moscow wants to return to the 2022 UN brokered deal. But here's what no one in Washington seems to notice. By fighting back, Ukraine is now exporting more grain than it did when it had that so-called negotiated deal with the United Nations. As long as America wrongly associates Ukraine with Biden corruption, Americans won't see these strengths and realities from Ukraine. And here in Kyiv, I can tell you that Ukraine's government does not understand the MAGA world, just as MAGA sees Ukraine as hopeless because Joe Biden made it look that way. So we come back to the pardoned men, Hunter Biden and Devon Archer. What do they know? What can they tell us? The Clintons used Fusion GPS to dig into Hunter Biden's ties to Moscow. He'd been making money from Russian contacts since at least 2012. And here's another kicker. Joe Biden's pardon of Hunter only covers activity back to 2014, the year of the Burisma deal in Moscow. But the Moscow money to Hunter began 2 years earlier, with payments from the wife of Moscow's mayor. That's not covered by the presidential pardon. Will Kash Patel investigate? This is Joe Lindsley reporting, as I have every day since 2022 from Ukraine.